When the time came to settle the estate of Jack and Audrey Newton, lifelong residents of Grange Farm in the English Midlands, a local auction firm was called upon to assess and sell their belongings following their passing. In 2015, as the evaluating experts stepped into the Newtons' farmhouse, it felt as if they had entered a time warp. Jack and Audrey, brother and sister, had called Grange Farm home for over 7 decades, moving there with their parents in the 1940s. Together, they tended to cattle, pigs, and the 115 acres of land that came with the property. Despite the nearby devastation wrought by German Luftwaffe bombers during World War II, their farmhouse remained miraculously untouched. The Newtons, as a family, had chosen a simpler, more rustic way of life, centered around their charming Queen Anne-style farmhouse, their land, and their animals. In many ways, their lifestyle appeared idyllic. However, Jack's peaceful existence was disrupted when he enlisted in the Royal Air Force during World War II. In the meantime, Audrey, alongside helping her parents, developed a passion for music and the arts, which eventually led her to Coventry's Belgrade Theatre. Grange Farm hosted various actors over the years, with the most notable guest being the future Broadway star, English singer and actor Michael Crawford, known for his role in The Phantom of the Opera. After the war, Jack returned to Grange Farm, and as time passed, their parents passed away. Yet, the devoted siblings continued their modest lives, never marrying or embracing modern conveniences. They maintained the farmhouse's original character, working the land and selling the farm's animals while rejecting many aspects of contemporary living. Sadly, in 2011, Audrey passed away in her 80s, and 4 years later, in March 2015, Jack also departed at the age of 90. This marked the first time since the 1940s that Grange Farm stood unoccupied, with no close relatives to inherit the property. The contents of Jack and Audrey's will remain confidential, but the executors decided to sell the farm and auction its contents to settle with the beneficiaries. Local property agents Hawkins and Harrison took charge of the real estate sale and auctioned everything within. Little did they know what they were about to encounter. Upon entering Grange Farm, the auction valuers from Hawkins and Harrison felt as though they had stepped into a time machine. The house appeared untouched since the Newtons' arrival 70 years prior. Furniture, ornaments, and everyday items provided a captivating glimpse into 1940s family life, with some possessions dating even earlier. Throughout the substantial 9-bedroomed property, antiques of various kinds were discovered. While some items were decorative, others remained functional, having been used by the Newtons until the very end. Among them were a traditional larder in lieu of a modern refrigerator, wrought iron bed frames, a typewriter, and an old sewing machine. The contents of Grange Farm were a testament to the hobbies and passions of Jack and Audrey Newton. Among the remarkable artifacts discovered were a collection of old musical instruments, vintage records, and sheet music, some of which dated back to the 1920s. The auction firm also unearthed antiquated film cameras, old pairs of binoculars, and even a peculiar find, a wartime amputation kit. Pat Ruck, who played a key role in organizing the auction on behalf of the Newtons' executors, was utterly amazed by the untouched treasures within Grange Farm. Speaking to the Coventry Telegraph in 2015, he marveled, "The house contents have not been touched since their late parents' time." Ruck was captivated by the time capsule of intriguing items, curiosities, and war memorabilia, and acknowledged, although the Newtons never married, they had an interesting life. It is really the end of a bygone era. The Newtons' neighbor, Shane Morris, shared insights when the Daily Mail visited Brighton-on-Dunsmore to witness the phenomenon firsthand. Morris explained that Jack and Audrey belonged to the make-do and mend generation, shaped by the Great Depression, World War II, and the austerity of the post-war years. As Morris aptly put it, "It is an old person's house, but they never threw anything away." He continued, "Even before recycling became a practice, they were conscientious people who kept everything. Jack had served in the RAF during the war and was a versatile handyman. They had cattle and pigs, and as they grew older, they sold the animals but continued to work the land." Before the grand auction of Grange Farm's contents, Hawkins and Harrison organized an open house, allowing the public to explore the Newtons' way of life and preview the auction lots. The event drew enthusiastic visitors from near and far who came to marvel at these historical treasures. The auction of the Newtons' possessions took place at Grange Farm in June 2015 and attracted hundreds of people due to the historical and antique significance of many items. Attendees were likely hoping to acquire a piece of history for themselves. Among those in attendance was Shane Morris, the local resident from Brighton-on-Dunsmore, who sought to acquire items as mementos in memory of the Newtons. He expressed, "They were very private people, but they were very nice and caring to their friends. They stuck by you. They were like parents to me and my wife, and we might bid on a few of the items to keep as mementos." In the end, all 500 available lots were eagerly claimed at the auction, including a gold pocket watch that fetched an impressive £600.